Challenge bring, make we chop small. Delight Cocoa.
Delight Cocoa, the authentic, original taste of African porridge. Available in all African and Caribbean shops. Delight Cocoa.
She has a plan, a secret mission filled by gratitude and affection. She chooses her mother's favorite breakfast. Delight Foods, House Cocoa, a harmonious blend of flavors crafted with care and devotion. The taste of tradition and comfort.
Breakfast is ready.
In that moment, their connection deepens, a bond strengthened by a shared experience. Delight Foods, House Cocoa, a delicious breakfast made with care and love in just 2 minutes.
My name is Fernanda Samoa, Director and CEO of Second Generation IT Group. Guess what? We are currently in Ghana, and we're going to offer the best courses that will allow you to work anywhere in the world. The courses that we're going to offer, we're talking about cloud computing. We're talking about introduction to computers, networking, network security, cyber security.
We have a conducive learning environment, and our programs are interactive, where the students get to ask questions and they get answers that's going to help them, and we equip them with the right knowledge.
Classes are offered Monday through Friday. It depends on which day you want to come. We have morning shift, we have afternoon schedule, we have evening schedule, and also on the weekends. To register, go to www.secondgenit.com and register.
The only boss with one S. Happy new month to all of you. Welcome to a month of new possibilities. Do you know why life has been made so easy? It's because of TapTapSend. People, TapTapSend is here to make your life easy if you want to transfer money to Ghana. If you want to transfer from USA, if you want to transfer from UK, Europe, Canada, a lot of places all to Ghana. And guess what? When it comes to Ghana, there's no e-levy charge. So, what are you waiting for? Download TapTapSend on Google Play Store and App Store and be ready for exciting offers coming your way each time, every time on TapTapSend.
TapTapSend. Send more, spend less.
Living in Ghana, abroad, a first-timer visiting Ghana, or a company wondering where to get quality service providers in Ghana for any job? Then Ejumapa On Demand Services is here to assist you. Ejumapa On Demand Services connect requesters and service providers such as masons, plumbers, electricians, auto repairers, home and office cleaners, trash collectors, rent agents, spa attendants, roofers, beauticians, teachers, CCTV installers, and all artisans on one platform. Yes, one platform. Trust Ejumapa On Demand Services to sort you out any day, anywhere, and at any time. To download the app, please visit the App Store and Play Store or visit our website www.ejumapa.com.
Guys, I welcome you live on SBTV International. We are streaming live on SBTV International on YouTube, Facebook, SBTV Africa, and also on our other YouTube channel, SBTV Africa. Welcome on board. Thank God it's Friday. You know, every Fridays I host Lawyer Wisdom Akao from Wiseman Solicitors, straight from UK, London. And today we are going to have an interesting topic. So make sure you just join us. And also don't forget to drop your questions, your comments, and your thoughts. Whatever you want to ask Lawyer, make sure you drop it at the comment section. When the time is up, we're going to put the questions there. Your questions there, then Lawyer will answer you. We are live. We are streaming live. It's a live program. My name is DJ Nyame, live on SVTV International. So if it's your first time, make sure you subscribe to our channel. Tell your friends, share our videos to invite your friends to come and join us. If you are watching us on Facebook, make sure you tap on follow, share, drop your comments. Let me go straight and have a chat with Lawyer. Every Fridays, we are here from 6 to 7:30. So just drop your questions, whatever you want to ask lawyer, you can just ask him. And when the time is up, I'll put it on the screen for him to answer your question. So make sure you share this link to your friends on WhatsApp, Telegram, every corner we did there. So let me go straight and have Lawyer Wisdom Akao on board. Lawyer, where's Olo? F1.
Hey, my phone, how for you?
Hey, my phone, welcome on board. How is the UK?
UK is very fine, very, very well, thank you. And
I can see from your face that everything is fine because more pounds, eh? The pounds is coming.
Well, if you have life, we thank God for everything.
So, last week we were having some challenges in Ghana. I mean, internet problem and all that, so we couldn't do our live as usual. So, Charlie, guys, those who are in Ghana know that, Charlie, last week, Charlie, things know they work well for we. We go off like 6 days, no internet, Charlie. The internet, they do like bleh. Oh, but we thank God we are back. So, guys, sorry, those who are in abroad, last week we couldn't do the program because of the internet challenges. But now all is sorted. We are back. So, lawyer, today what are we discussing? Wiseman solicitors.
Thank you, thank you, all our watchers and listeners. Thank you for another Friday you've logged on. We thank God for everything. Today, I want us to look at there's an issue about can I not bring my. Today we are on international, I believe, right?
Yeah, today we are doing English.
Okay, that's fine.
And next week they will do our local dialect. So today we are doing more English.
I hear you. Thank you.
My intro or English stay. Technical English man. Me, my English be technical English. So yeah, let's go. So essentially we are discussing about the 29,000 pounds.
Yes. So the question is, if I don't earn 29,000 pounds, does it mean that I cannot bring my spouse to the UK? If I don't earn the 29,000 pounds, does it mean my wife or my husband can never come to the UK? And the question is then, is it fair for my wife to be excluded from coming to the UK because I don't earn the 29,000 pounds, which will start from the 11th of April 2024. But before that, I want to look at a few updates. Number one update is, please bear with me.
Okay, so once we are waiting for Lawyer Wisdom Akao to come back, you can drop your, you are watching us live on SVTV International on our YouTube channel. Make sure you follow us there for English interviews, and also SVTV Africa for our local dialects, local interviews. So make sure you subscribe to these two channels, and also those watching us on Facebook, try to also follow us on our English channel, SVTV International, SVTV Africa, both on YouTube. My name is DJ Nyami. So every Fridays, like I said, I host Lawyer Wisdom Akao, Wiseman Solicitors, champion lawyer, Fanta brutal lawyer, hot man. So I'm waiting for Lawyer Wisdom Akao to come back. Let me just give shout out, quick one. Let me go and see comment section. Daniel Sal, say good evening, DJ, and good evening to Charlie. Haji Abba Mustafa, yeah, you are here. Big ups. Make sure you share it too. Share the link. Share it. Share. Okay, so is it Pope Ade? Watching live from Liverpool. Salome Kwe, big shout out to SVTV Africa fans. Joseph Dakun Ankra, you're watching me straight from Canada. Nice one. But we are not discussing Canada. We are discussing UK. Canada, I'll bring this man again. What is his name? Steve Aoudi. Steve Aoudi. When it comes to Canada issues, Steve Aoudi is an immigration expert. I do bring him on the show as well. So PK Datsun, yeah, nice one. Shadrach Asamfo, say God bless SBTV. God bless you too. Mawonyo Apietu. Is it Apietu? Yeah, say DJ, you are the best. Nice one. Ajwa Esa Porsche. He says DJ, long time to Fred Osai Bonsu. So you say you are watching me, Ajwa. You say you are watching me from Australia. Nice one. So make sure you share the link. Whilst I'm waiting for Lawyer Wisdom Akao to come back and give us the updates, you listen to it. It's very important. It doesn't matter if you are not even in the UK. Make sure you watch, share to your friend. It will help somebody. Kankan Solomon, say good evening. Good evening. Welcome on board. You are watching us on Facebook. And make sure you share the link, share the live, and then drop your comments later. Any question you want to ask Lawyer, time to ask Lawyer, you just drop it and I'll put it on the comment section for on the screen for him to answer you. So whilst I'm waiting for Lawyer Wisdom Akao, Dominic Jedu, okay, said DJ, thank you for, let me know where you're watching me from. Thank you for your regular education. Nice one. But I'll be dropping some video. And I mean, kind of trigger and the baby. Now, guys, say dropping before live way, but Baba dropping video be. Someone named the Ekoswa a very serious. After many lawyer we are on your YouTube channel SVTV Africa. Russia recruitment Ekoso. Samatetia with the exclusive Ghana for Omoko Raman for recruit you more Omoko Russia war. Na ya say knockout in your tour. Baby, ye kunkumbi. Ye kunkumbi bre. The encophobia ya recruiting for the Russia. Otewa. In him say, man my day, but be wa. Uko kwama Russia saying. Me dream wa mintiase. Me this our exclusive biba. It's we are. Me see me real live we are. Anything I say I'm following our YouTube channel no, because before I open Facebook no na check. Until we no join our YouTube channel SVTV Africa. Any SVTV International. Obo SVTV bia we be beba SVTV Africa, SVTV International. Now subscribe it. Now be join the exclusive member. Me say we me lawyer we are me the Russia interview. The Ekoso. Ye recruiting crofoko. We are encourage any so muni mo ye encourage mumpo. Oh, eduma bia pai or Russia, ukoya na enu akosha amini yes sign. Wa won't mean film waka. The other chance to pai kikim onayate. What exclusive. Anyway, I mean go straight. I was on come back.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Yes, I had a call from one of these government waving, so I had to quickly. Yeah, now
Okay.
unknown numbers in too far, and then one with the almost free, and I had to respond to that. So
okay, lawyer, over to you. So let's go straight. You said some updates. Let's go.
Yes, a few things. One, some increments, some more application fees, including passports and Appendix FM fees. Now, we are all aware that the fees changed recently. The Home Office fee is £1,048, and the Immigration Health Surcharge increased from £624 to £1,035, which means the IHS, which used to be 1,560, is now £2,585 and 70p. That is 2587.50. £2,587 and 50p. So from 1,560 to £2,587 and 50p. That is the change that came. And not just that, there are a few changes that are coming in terms of new fees coming into effect as well. So I'll just read through a few of the changes that is taken effect. Application for visit visa for a period of 2 years where the fee does not apply is, that is, application for visit visa for a period of 2 years is currently £400, is going to go up to £432. So that is one. Application for limited leave to remain in the UK under appendix skilled worker to the immigration rules other than the dependent partner is going to change from 1,500 to £1,636. They've added £136. Then we go to application for nationality. That is application for amendment of certificate of registration or naturalization other than where the amendment is required to rectify an error made by the Secretary of State. What it means is that if you made an application for British citizenship and the Home Office issued you a certificate, and there's a mistake on the certificate which is caused by the Home Office, then that is a different matter. But if the error is caused by you, or you did not provide the right information, and you have to go and correct that information from the Home Office or at the Home Office, currently it is £250, but it's going to go up to £400. So take note of that. Application for certificate of entitlement where the application is made in respect of a person who is outside the UK at the time of the application. That is to say, you've made an application for entitlement of a certificate of entitlement. Let's say you are a British citizen, you don't have a British passport, and you want a certificate of entitlement to British citizenship or right of abode. Currently, it is £388. It's going to go up to £550. And also, application for a letter or other document confirming a person's nationality status, or that a person is not a British citizen, where the fee is not specified elsewhere. Now, you want to apply for a certificate to show, maybe to a government institution, that you are not a British citizen. Maybe they want to give you some political position and they want to be sure that you are not a dual national. You don't have the nationality of another country. So your country is asking for that, or you want to go and prove to them that you are not a British citizen. That certificate is currently certificate of application is currently £250. Is going to go up to £429. That is that. That application for the review of an application for certificate of registration or naturalization, or for a certificate of entitlement which has been refused by the Secretary of State. Application for a review of an application for certificate of registration. So if you apply for a registration or as a British citizen, and the application is refused, and then you want to apply to them to review that decision which refused your initial application. Currently, you paid £372. It's going to go up to £450. So if you are applying for a review of that decision to not give you a certificate for citizenship, it's currently £372. Is going to go up to £450. And then we have registration of a declaration of renunciation of British citizenship under Section 12 of the British Nationality Act of 1981. That is to say, you want to register to declare that you have renounced your British citizenship. Registration of a declaration of renunciation of British citizenship. Let's say you are a British citizen and you want to renounce your British citizenship because you're going to be a president in another country, or you're going to stand for as a member of parliament for another country. If you want to renounce your British citizenship, that application, the fee is currently £372. it's also going to go up to £450. The next one is registration of a declaration of renunciation overseas territory citizenship under Section 12 and 24 of the British Nationality Act. That is to say, you are a British citizen overseas and a British overseas territory citizen, and you want to renounce it because you don't want the British citizenship. You want to be, again, maybe political reasons, you want to show that you are on your own, you are not a British citizen. That would also cost you £450 to renounce that citizenship. British overseas territory citizenship is £450. And then we have registration of declaration of renunciation of British nationality overseas status. That is also, you want to renounce your British overseas nationality status. You want to renounce your British national status under Section 12 of the British Nationality Act 1981 and Article 7 of Hong Kong British Nationality Order 1986. That will cost you £450. Currently, it is £372, but it's going to cost you £450. We have registration of declaration of renunciation of the status of a British subject under Section 12 and Section 54 of the British Nationality Act of 1981. Currently, the fee is £372. It's going to go up to £450. That is also the change that is coming to effect. And the next one is arrangement of citizenship ceremony, administration of a citizenship oath and pledge at the ceremony. Currently, it is £80. £80. That is normally included in the application for citizenship. So if you are applying for British citizenship, it's currently, I think it's £1,580. I think so, it's £1,580. That £80 on top is going to change to £130. So it means the application fee for British citizenship is going to go higher than it is now. So it is 1,580. It's going to go to 1,630 rather than 1,580. It's going to go to 1,680 pounds. So let's take note of that and know that the fees are going to change. The fees are going to change. Normally, these fees change from the 4th of April. It changes from the 4th of April, that is the financial year, and it would change from the 4th of April, that is applications made between, it says the changes is going to take effect from, that's regulation takes possible that this does not apply to applications made from the 4th of April to the 3rd of July, where the application sponsorship has, okay, that's for a different matter, but usually the fees take effect from, I think, the 6th of April, that is the start of the new financial year. So let's take note of that, so that if you've made preparation to make a home office application for naturalization and you budgeted for 1,580, you have to add additional £50 to it to make it £1,630. So that is for your information. The last one on the table is if application for entry clearance for a period of 2 years. Application for entry clearance for a period of 2 years. That is to say, I think is the visit visa. You have to again take note that it's going to increase from £400 to £432. So we would let you have more details when the changes take effect. Well, I think from this that is increases on this date, including the for an adult online application, right? So for British citizenship is also going to change. The British passport application is going to change. The fee is going to change, and of course, If you're applying for a child, the fee is different. If you're applying for an adult, the fee is different. So let's take note of this and be aware that the fees are going to change. The fees will change, and if you cannot, under normal circumstances, afford this fee, you can always apply for a fee waiver. For children, you can apply for fee waiver, but for adults, when it comes to British citizenship, you will not be able to apply for a fee waiver for adults. But for children, yes, you can apply for fee waiver so that the child does not have to pay the application fee for their British citizenship. So that is for our information. Secondly, or in another category, there have been certain changes that are coming into effect. This HC has been laid before Parliament, and it is HC 590, which was laid before Parliament on the 4th of March 2024. HC 590. HC 590. And that was laid before Parliament on the 12th of March 2024. So that is it. There are a few changes that I want to mention, and then we can go on to the other things. Number one, I think we are all aware that the health care sector, the fee or the salary for employees is changing from 26,000 to 38,700. The salary threshold for applicants is going to change from 26,200 to 38,700. That is going to be the new threshold. It means that those who are already in the system can, of course, the employers can still continue to pay that. But any new person, any new applicant, any new employee that is going to come to the UK to work, then they would have to be paid the required amount of £38,700. Now, the intention of the Home Office is to reduce the number of people that employers can bring in, because the question is how many employers can afford to pay 38,700 for an employee. A lot of the employers will be priced out, or let me say they will be salaried out. Salaried out in the sense that if you can't afford the amount that is required to pay to an employee, then automatically you have been edged out. You've been salaried, or you've been priced out of bringing somebody to the UK, which actually means currently it is £26,200, which is £10.75 an hour. But if and when it goes to 38,700, it means it's going to increase from £10.75 to £15.88 per hour. So it is good for the employees, but it is not good for the employers, because they may not have that amount of money to pay employees. So that is for our information. So if you're an employee and you come in to work in the UK from the 11th of April, then of course, is it 11th of April? I think 11th of, yeah. Then certainly that is good for you. That is good for you. So let's take note of that. Let's take note of that. Yes, I think the date before the 4th of, okay, that's fine. Let's take note of that. It's good for the employees, but it's not good news for the employers. So those are some information. Another very important change that is coming is this. Most of us are aware of applications that are made on based on Appendix FM as a parent of a child or a stepchild in the UK. Now, currently, as we speak, if you are in the UK and you don't have the leave to be here, you don't have the right to be here, and you marry a person who has a child and the child is under 18 years old, and you are the stepfather or the stepmother to that child, you are able to apply for leave to remain based on your stepchild to be in the UK. That is doable. But the Home Office has laid the HC before Parliament, the HC 590 before Parliament, and they have redefined, or they are redefining what or who a parent is. And a parent in this case is a biological parent, a legal parent, adoptive parent. They have removed a step parent away from the definition, which means it, as it may stand, mean that if you marry somebody and the person has a child, you may not be able to apply based on your stepchild and your partner. You may not be able to apply based on your stepchild and your partner. Reason for the change in definition. The Home Office says that a mother has an automatic parental responsibility. A father whose name is on the birth certificate has an automatic parental responsibility. A stepfather does not have an automatic parental responsibility, and therefore they are being removed from the definition, which means even as a stepfather, as a stepdad, or as a stepparent, you may not be able to apply based on your stepchild. And even if you are able to, then you need to prove that you have actually assumed full responsibility, and there's going to be a lot of documentations required to prove that you are actually having parental responsibility for that stepchild of yours before your application will stand the least chance of succeeding. So that is a very important update that I thought is of, you know, it will be of interest to our listeners, and therefore we should take note of that. I strongly believe that the Home Office makes a statistics or take a data of every visa they issue or every application that they issue. So if they realize that a certain aspect is being over relied on, then they try to make some laws. That is what I believe, to actually address those areas. And that is what I believe is the cause for the redefinition of who a parent is, thereby leading to the exclusion of step parents from the definition of who a parent is, so that applicants cannot make application based on the fact that they are a step father to a child. So those are some of the updates that I want us to be aware of. Now, today I want to talk about, if I don't earn the £29,000 that is going to take effect from the 11th of April, does that mean I cannot bring my wife or my husband to the UK? Does that mean I cannot bring my wife or my husband to the UK only because I do not earn £29,000? Is that fair? Is it fair that I am married? My wife and I have lived together in Ghana probably before I came to the UK, or I came to the UK after many years. I have settled in the UK, and I went back home, met this beautiful lady, and we got married. The Home Office says because I do not work and earn, or I work but I don't earn 29,000 pounds, I cannot bring my spouse. Is that the end of it? What should I do, or what can I do? So today I want to take a look at what you can do if you do not earn the 29,000 pounds. How can you still bring your partner to the UK? Now, if you don't meet the financial threshold, you have to meet the maintenance requirement. These are two separate things. We have the financial requirement and then we have the maintenance requirement. One is F and one is M. Financial requirement and maintenance requirement. The financial requirement talks about the 29,000 pounds. So we would need 6 months pay slips, 6 months bank statement, P60, and all additional documents to prove that you actually earn the 29,000 pounds. But if you don't meet the 29,000 pounds, in what circumstance or under what circumstances or in which categories can people who don't earn the 29,000 pounds who can bring their partners to the UK? So number one, if you don't meet the financial requirement and you have to meet the income support level or income support threshold, that is the maintenance, couple is 133 pounds 30p. So you multiply that by 4 and that gives you, if my math is right, you need about, so let's see, yeah, I believe somebody is doing the math for me. So please, let's see, 133 times 30. Okay, 133 times 30, 133.3 times 4, that gives us 533 pounds 20p a month for couple. 133 pounds 30p a week times 4 weeks in a month, that gives us 533 pounds 20p for a month for couple. That is those who do not meet those who do not qualify or who are excluded, let me say exempt from the financial requirement, the 29,000, you are exempt, but you need to meet at least 533 pounds 20p a month times 12 months. It means you need at least 6,398 pounds 40p a month for maintenance. But let me break it down for you. If you don't have to meet the financial requirement, but you have to meet the maintenance requirement, again, let me emphasize that you need to have 133 pounds and 30p a week times 4 weeks. That gives you 533 pounds 20p plus your rent. So let's assume your rent is 500 pounds. If your rent is 500 pounds, let's say we have 533.20 plus 500 pounds. The total is 1,033 pounds 20p. Plus, let's say your council tax is 70 pounds a month. So plus 70, that gives us 1,103 pounds and 20p a month. So you need to show that at least you have 1,103.20 a month for you to meet the maintenance requirement. Yes, you don't have to meet the 29,000, we agree, but you have to meet the maintenance requirement, which shows that you are able to look after yourself and your partner without going to ask the government to give you money to look after your spouse. If you are getting married, you must be able to support yourself and your spouse. It's not the duty of the government to finance your marriage for you. It's not the duty of the government to finance your relationship. And therefore, you have to prove that you are able to look after yourself and your partner without going for additional benefit. That is why you have to meet the income support threshold plus your rent plus your council tax. So the rough calculation I made, yes, a couple, 133.30 times 4, that gives us 533.20 plus your rent of £500. So let's say, and council tax of £70. That gives us 1103.20 times, let's say, 12 months. So technically, you have to show £13,238 a year, whereas some other people will have to show £29,000. You only have to show that your maintenance threshold and everything, you have about £13,238 40p a year based on the figures I used for the calculation. The figures, when they change or if they change, will certainly affect this outcome. So I use £500 as rent. Maybe your rent is £700, and therefore it means you need a little more than the 1,100. Or maybe somebody does not pay rent at all. If that is the case, then of course your required amount of maintenance a month is certainly going to be less than what you have, what I've just calculated. So that is it. Everybody and their circumstance and how much you require, but you have to meet the maintenance threshold. So, which category of people do not have to meet the £29,000 requirement? Number one, if you are receiving carers allowance, carers allowance. If you are receiving carers allowance, you do not need to meet the £29,000. Now, carers allowance, this is for a person who, assuming you are caring for somebody, so the person you care for must already get one of the benefits. So if you are caring for somebody and you are receiving that allowance, then you don't have to meet the £29,000 requirement. Let me say it again. If you are receiving carers allowance, then you don't have to meet the £29,000 threshold. Example, you are a mom, you are looking after a child of yours that has health issues. And because you are looking after your child, you are paid carers allowance. Because you are in receipt of carers allowance and you are already possibly receiving another benefit on top of it, you don't have to meet the £29,000, but you have to meet the maintenance threshold just as I calculated. So that is point number one. A person who is receiving carers allowance or constant attendance allowance, you must be receiving one of these allowances and you would be excluded. I'll look at all of them one after the other. The next, a person you care for, it says the type of care you provide must be at least 35 hours a week caring for somebody. So if you spend about 35 hours a week caring for somebody, then you are possibly in receipt. I'm sure you've been assessed and you are receiving the carers allowance, then you don't have to meet the £29,000. Now it says the person you are, this The person you are caring for, you must spend at least 35 hours a week doing caring for someone. This can include helping with washing and cooking for them, taking the person to care or to a doctor's appointment. So you do those errands, you run those errands, you take the person to doctor's appointments or for maybe physiotherapy, etc., etc. You are in receipt of carer's allowance, and you help with the household tasks like managing the bills and shopping for the person. If that is the case, then of course you do not have to meet the 29,000 pounds when it comes into effect. You don't have to meet that 29,000 pounds requirement. You don't. So that is that. And it also says you must be over 16 years. You must spend at least 35 hours a week caring for someone, and you must be in England or Wales. And of course, you must not be in full time education. You must not be in full time education because if you are in full time education, how are you able to care for somebody full time? In that case, it's not possible. Or you must not be studying for 20 hours, 21 hours a week or more. You must not be in full time education and you must not be studying for more than 21 hours a week, 21 hours or more a week. So that is what it is. In that case, you have been assessed possibly by the Departments of Works and Pensions, and you have been granted the carers allowance. You do not have to meet the 29,000 pounds. The other thing is if you are in receipt of disability living allowance, DLA, disability living allowance, you too or you also do not have to meet the 29,000 pounds requirement. You don't have to meet the 29,000 pounds requirement. Now it says disability living allowance is being replaced by other benefits. Now, if you already get DLA, your claim might end. You will need to get a letter telling you when this will happen. So, disability living allowance is changing to something else. So, if you are in receipt of that and you want to bring your wife to the UK to join you, then you must please, as soon as you can, liaise with the authorities so that they can put you on the right one, and then you'll be able to bring your spouse to the UK. That is that. The other one is if you are in receipt of severe disablement allowance, SDA, that is severe disablement allowance, SDA. In that case, you will be able to bring your spouse also without having to meet the 29,000 pounds requirement, but you need to meet the income support threshold for couple plus your rent plus your council tax, and then you'll be fine to go. Now, it also says severe disablement allowance is being replaced with employment support allowance, ESA. So if you receive ESA, that is also good enough for you to prove that you meet the requirements to bring your partner to the UK. Also, if you are in receipt of industrial injury disablement benefit, you too are able to bring your spouse. You don't have to meet the 29,000 pounds. I'm sorry, I keep saying 18,600 because that is what it is now. But we are talking more about the 29,000 pounds, which is going to take effect from the 11th of April 2024. So, if you are in receipt of industrial injury disablement allowance, you are able to bring your partner to the UK without having to meet the 29,000 pounds requirement for partners. The other very important one is I've talked about attendance, I've talked about carers allowance. There's one which is very, very, very important, attendance allowance. And that is that is an extra cost. Attendance allowance helps with extra cost if you have disability severe enough that you need someone to help look after you. So if you are having a disability and you want or you need to have somebody to help to look after you, that is what we call attendance allowance. In that case, if you're receiving that as well, you don't have to meet the 29,000 pounds. You just have to show that you meet the maintenance threshold, and then you can apply to bring your partner to the UK. Now, usually that would include, you could get, let's say, 68 pounds 10p or 101 pounds 75p a week to help with personal support if you are both physically or mentally disabled. If you have physical or mental disability, you can get 68.10 or 101.52 a week to help look after you. So that is also very, very important. You could get extra pension credit, housing benefit, or council tax reduction if you get attendance allowance. These are all part of the benefits you can get to meet the threshold so that your partner can come and join you here without you having to work yourself to death to meet the 18,000, to meet the 29,000 pounds. My apologies. To meet the 29,000 pounds. Now, to be eligible for attendance allowance, you have to meet some requirements. You have you have a physical disability, including sensory disability, for example, blindness. So if you are a person who suffers from visual impairments, then you are able to possibly meet the attendance allowance and you'll be paid that. Your disability is severe enough that you need someone to help in caring for you. I've mentioned that already. You can also, of course, qualify for that. You have needed that help for the last 6 months. Again, you are a person who can qualify for attendance allowance. Or you are in Great Britain when you claim. There are some exceptions, such as members and family members of yours, and you need to be assessed and deemed as qualified for that allowance. You can get it for yourself, and that will help you to be able to bring your partner to the UK without having to go to work to meet the 29,000 pounds. Please bear with me and pardon me if I keep saying 18,600, but what I mean is the 29,000 pounds. Of course, people who receive the 18,600 also fall in the same category. If you receive any of these benefits, you don't have to meet the 18,600 or the 29,000 pounds when it takes effect. Now, one big one, which I know a lot of people take because of their circumstances, is PIP, Personal Independence Payment. PIP, Personal Independence Payment. If you are in receipt of personal independence payments, you are also able to bring your spouse to the UK, provided you meet the maintenance requirements. You don't have to bring your partner. You don't have to meet the 29,000 or the 18,600, but you can bring your partner once you are in receipt of PIP. A person who can get a PIP is a person who has a long-term physical or mental health condition or disability, difficulty doing certain everyday tasks or getting around because of their condition. If you cannot get certain everyday tasks done and you need support, that person, and you've been assessed for to be qualified for the PIP, Personal Independence Payment, then you are able to apply to bring your partner to the UK. So that is what it is. You might get the daily living part of PIP. The daily living part of PIP, that is also it is preparing food. Get the daily living part if you needed help with preparing your food, eating and drinking, managing and your medicine or treatment, washing and bathing, using the toilet, dressing, and undressing, reading, managing your money, socializing, and being around other people, talking, listening, and understanding. So, if you need somebody to listen for you, and this is part of your diagnosis, and you have been assessed to meet your PIP, then you don't have to. You don't have to meet the 29,000 or the 18,600 pounds to bring your partner to the UK. The other benefit you don't have to, the other benefit in which category you don't have to um, meet the financial threshold, that is the 18,600 or the 29,000, is if you're receiving armed forces independence payment. Armed forces independence payment. In that case, you also do not need to meet the 29,000 pounds or the 18,600. You don't have to meet that if you are receiving the armed forces independence payment. That is that. And also constant attendance allowance. You also do not have to meet the 29,000 pounds and you do not have to meet the 18,600. Or if you are in receipt of the police injury uh, pension, I think, yeah, the police injury pension also, you also don't have to meet the 18,600, and you also do not have to meet the 29,000 pounds when it takes effect. So clearly, these are areas. So we have police injury pension. Let me quickly run over it, and then we know which category you fall in. So yes, 29,000 pounds is coming for people who want to bring their spouses to the UK to meet. If you want to bring your spouse to the UK, you need to meet the 29,000 pounds. But you don't have to meet that if you are in one of these categories. I'll just quickly run it over again, run through it again, like I said earlier. Carers allowance. If you receive carers allowance, you don't have to meet the 29,000 pounds. If you receive disability living allowance, you don't have to meet the 29,000 pounds. If you receive severe disablement allowance, you don't have to meet the 18,600 pounds and you don't have to meet the 29,000 pounds. If you receive attendance allowance, because somebody has to attend to you, you don't have to meet the 18,600 and you don't have to meet the 29,000 pounds. If you receive PIP, personal independence payment, you don't have to meet the 29,000 pounds, neither do you have to meet the 18,600 pounds. If you receive armed forces independence payment or guaranteed income payment under the Armed Forces Compensation Scheme, you don't have to meet the 18,600 and you don't have to meet the 29,000 pounds that is coming into effect soon. If you receive constant attendance allowance, mobility support, or war disablement allowance, you do not have to meet the 18,600 and you do not have to meet the 29,000 pounds. And if you receive the police injury pension, you also do not have to meet the 18,600, neither do you have to meet the 29,000 pounds. So these are the categories of people. Even though the 29,000 pounds is coming, you don't have to meet this and you can still apply to bring your partner to join you here in the UK. So DJ, I'll leave it at that and I'll take some questions if there are any at all. If there are no questions, then we can say thank you very much. Thank you, and over to you, DJ. Thank you. Okay, it says, ask the lawyer to explain to us whether the new laws means cancellation of papers of those already on care visa route or not. No, your visas would not be cancelled. Your visas will not be curtailed. Your leave will still continue under the current rule because there's something called the transitional arrangement or the transitional provision, which, if a new law takes effect, people who are already under the old law can still continue under that old law. Otherwise, it will be impossible to meet the new changes. At the time that you came, it was the old law that was in effect. Therefore, we cannot expect you to meet the new requirement. So your visa will not be cancelled or curtailed or revoked. You will still carry on under the old provision in place at this time. Hello, Salome Koi. I hope you are doing good. What are the list of documents if one has a business in UK and wants to bring his or her spouse to the UK? Thank you. Now, if you have a business or you are working as a self-employed person, so I'll look at a self-employed person. If you're a director of a company, the requirements are also different. So I will just quickly take you to the requirements of a self-employed person. And one, you will need to provide your self-assessment. Self-assessment for the last financial year. You need to provide your self-assessment for your last financial year. That is one. You need to also provide your bank statements for 1 year. 1 year. Now, if you are employed, you need 6 months pay slips, 6 months bank statements. But if you are a self-employed person, then you need 1 year, 12 months of your statements to prove that you meet the requirements. So that is one. Self-assessment, 6 months, self-assessment and 12 months bank statement. You also need evidence of the amount of tax payable, paid, and unpaid for the last full financial year. So evidence of your tax payable, paid, and unpaid for the last full financial year. So you need to provide that to show that you meet the requirements of a self-employed person. The next one is that you need to, of course, prove that you have a unique number. So you have to have a unique number. That is, they call it a unique tax reference number to show that you are registered with the HMRC as a self-employed person or as a person who has a business. So I've mentioned tax payable, tax paid, and tax unpaid. You have to declare that. Annual self-assessment tax return to HMRC, a copy or a printout is required. You need a statement of account, SA 300 or SA 302. Statement of account, SA. Statement S account, A. Statement of account 300 or statement of account 302 to support it. You need proof of registration with the HMRC and or the UTR of the partnership or business. So if you are a self-employed person, you need your UTR number, of course, as evidence of your registration with the Home Office. Sorry, not the Home Office, with the HMRC. My apologies. It goes on to say you need unique tax reference number and or I've mentioned that you need a personal bank statement for the same 12 months period as the tax returns. So you need a personal bank statement for the same 12 months period as the tax return that you have filed. You need that as well. And you also need evidence of ongoing self-employment through evidence of payment of Class 2 national insurance contributions. Class 2 national insurance contribution. You need to provide that to show that you are actually still actively working as a self-employed person. If you have invoices, if you have receipts, you need to provide that. It will help your case. And you need a letter from your accountant, a letter from your accountant which will say that, or which will prove that they are qualified and regulated by an account with a financial institution in the UK. So a letter from your accountant, if the business is not required to produce annual audited accounts, unaudited accounts for the last full financial year, and an accountant's certificate of confirmation from an accountant who is a member of a UK recognized supervisory body as defined in the Companies Act 2006. So now you bring all of these documents together, then you can apply for your partner in addition with other documents such as your money transfers to your partner, your communication, WhatsApp messages, text messages, emails, pictures, visits, marriage certificate, English language requirement, tuberculosis. Once you can prove all of this, then you are in a very good position to apply for your partner to join you here. But these applications can be very, very complicated, particularly when it comes to self-employed persons. So I would advise you to seek legal advice before you proceed with such an application. Thank you very much, Ms. Corey. And then it says, DJ watching you live from UK. I want to ask lawyer, hi, if someone is on skilled visa with dependent, can they divorce and both marry someone with, well, let me put it this way. There is no law which says you cannot divorce, apart from your religious or moral grounds. There is no law which says if you are not compatible or you can't carry on with a relationship, you should get stuck in it. There is no such law. No such law which says you have to be forced to remain in a relationship. So if you came with your partner and for one reason or the other, the relationship is broken down and you can't continue anymore and you go your separate ways, so be it. That's the first part of the question. Yes, you can divorce. Second part of the question is, can you marry another person in the UK? Yes, as long as you are free to marry, you are not attached to anybody in terms of marriage, you are free to marry anybody of your choice. Husband, wife, yes, you can marry here in the UK. Anybody with whom you think you are compatible, a man, woman, of course, you are compatible, you can then proceed to marry in the UK. So yes, if the woman divorces, she can go ahead and marry. If the man is divorced, you can also go ahead and marry. Nothing stops you in terms of the law from going ahead with your marriage if you wish to. Thank you. Truth Media GH. When is the change taking effect for Appendix FM about step parents? It's taking effect from the 6th of 6, 2024. The 6th of June 2024. So you have the whole of, or the rest of April, you have the rest of March, the whole of April, the whole of March, and then the 6th of June, that takes effect. So I advise my clients that if you are already in a relationship, you are already in a relationship, and you have plans far advanced, and you intend to get married and to apply. But for one reason or the other, there is a delay. This is not the time to delay it any further. If you can put things together, genuine, genuine relationship, please try and submit your application before the 6th of June. Otherwise, the new rules will be used to determine your application, and it might not be what you expect to have in terms of a decision. Thank you very much. The next question is I applied for a spouse visa under human rights, but it was refused. But I have appealed, but yet don't have right to work. But currently my wife is pregnant. What should I do since not heard from the tribunal yet? Oh, hi, my brother. Now, if you applied for a spouse visa under the human rights, it means probably you don't have any child in that relationship. If there was a child or a stepchild, I'm sure you would have been successful. But if there was no child, that is the reason why the application may have been refused. Now that you are expecting a child, God willing, if the child is born before your court date, you can add the child's birth certificates, everything, pictures, etc., to your bundle to the court. The judge will assess everything. The Home Office will accept that most probably as a new matter. And because it's a new matter, you would be assessed based on that. You stand a very good chance of winning your appeal. Alternatively, if the child is born, or when the child is born, not if, but when the baby is born, and the baby is a British citizen, you can then decide to put in a fresh application to the Home Office and withdraw your appeal. You have a better chance of succeeding with a new application because your child is British, you are in the UK, you live with your partner, all the documentations are available, you have a very good chance of succeeding. So, court cases take a very long time, takes a lot of time. It can be 6 months, 8 months, a year, or even longer. You have to wait. But if or when the baby comes and you think you can apply based on the baby rather than keep waiting for the court case, then you can make a fresh application and you will be able to you'll get your stay in the UK as a parent of this child. Nana Yao Flocking, hello. He says, hello, lawyer. Hi. Thank you for your good work. Thank you too. I am grateful to you for listening in the Ghanaian community in the UK. I want to ask that if you want to prove your relationship in your spousal visa, one, will it be enough if you only have one picture of you and your spouse signing the marriage certificate, other than other different occasions, social photos? Will it be acceptable? Two, also adding your chat to your proof to prove your communication. Do you have to add all the day-to-day chats since you started talking, all snaps of it every month, all snaps of it every month? Now, you realize that for some time now, if you apply to bring your spouse to the UK, they don't call for interview, which is rightly so. They make the decision based on the documents that you provide. If the documents you provide are enough and they've done their checks and they are satisfied, they make a decision, they give you the visa to come, or they give your wife the visa to come. Now, because you are not present to ask or answer questions, it is always best to provide enough documents to the caseworker so that it will disabuse his mind, or it will satisfy him that this is a genuine relationship. So I will say yes, add all your download all your communications, WhatsApp messages, text messages, screenshots, add all of them from when you started talking or from when the relationship started. Please add everything, everything. Screenshots, pages, video calls with screenshots with you showing the corner or she showing the corner and you showing, add all of this to support your application. It will put you in a very good position. Coming to the photographs, if you have only the one occasion of where you and your spouse and the other family members and probably the registrar signing the marriage certificate, if that is all you have, then that is what it is. Maybe that is the very first time you went to Ghana to get married, but it will normally be accepted or be expected that maybe she met you at the airport or you went out to eat or something of the sort. But if you don't have it, you don't have it. If you have it, add it to it. I be a bit hesitant in admitting that after the marriage ceremony, you didn't take any more pictures. You didn't go out to eat. No restaurant. You didn't go to church. You didn't go to anywhere. No shopping mall and everything. Maybe you had, but maybe those pictures are disappeared. Maybe because the phone got lost or something. If you don't have it, you don't have it. Explain in your cover letter. If you have it, please provide it if you can. It will help your case to be successful. Hello, Nana Mensa Bosompem Tony. Hi, Buampong, I'm sorry. Nana Mensa Buampong Tony. Do care workers also have to meet the £29,000 within a year before they are able to bring their spouse or dependents? No, the care workers have to be paid £38,700. They have to be paid £38,700. Now, they cannot even bring their partners because the law has stopped them from bringing their dependents to the UK. Those who are already in the system can still continue to bring their dependents, but those who are coming can no longer bring their dependents to the UK to be with them here. So theirs is not 39,000. Theirs is not 39,600. It's 18,600 or 29,000, not 29,600. But care workers will have to be paid £38,700, not £29,000. Thank you. Hello, PK Datson. Most UK jobs makes you earn 23,000. I agree. For a regular 8 hour a day. So get a second job of just 3 extra hours, Monday to Friday. That's good. And you can hit the £29,000. Thank you, my brother, for the suggestion. Thank you for the suggestion. Yes, get a second job. Because if you don't get a second job, you have to meet the high threshold. You have to meet the difference of what you earn plus what you are supposed to earn plus times 2.5 plus £16,000 savings. So let me just do a rough calculation for you. Just a rough calculation. Now, assuming that somebody is supposed to earn, the law says £29,000, £29,000, but the person is earning £23,000. So we have 29,000 minus 23,000. So there's a shortfall of £29,000. If my math is right, 29 minus 23,000. So there's a shortfall of £6,000. Okay, so 29000 minus 23000, £6,000. You multiply that 6,000 by 2.5. That is 2 times 2.5. That gives you £15,000 plus a savings of £16,000, which has to be in your account for 6 months. If you add this, you are around £40,000, if my math is right. So we have 6,000 times 2.5 gives us £15,000 plus £16,000. That gives us £31,000, not 40, £31,000. 15 plus 16 is £31,000. So because you are short by £6,000, you must have £31,000 in your account for 6 months before your partner can come. Only because you are short of £6,000. To avoid you having to show this £31,000 in your account for 6 months, please get a second job. That will top it up for you so that you can meet the £29,000 without having to prove that you have a savings of £31,000. Thank you very much. Hi, I'm currently on a PSW and I'm getting married soon. Please, is there any way I can bring my wife to UK with my PSW? No, unfortunately, from what we know is that you can't bring your dependent to the UK if you are on a PSW. You can't bring your dependent to the UK on your post-study, the graduate visa route. It means you have to settle, get your indefinite leave to remain. Once you get your indefinite leave to remain, then of course you can go and then bring your partner to settle with you here in the UK. The last time I checked, that is what it is. I don't think it's changed yet, but I will check again. If anything changes, I'll be more than happy to let you know. Hello, hi, Mr. Paul Owusu Echampong. Can I file for my wife to join me in the UK if I'm on EU pre-settled settlement scheme status? If you are on EU pre-settlement status, unfortunately, you cannot bring your wife now. You cannot bring your wife now because you are not settled. If you go to Appendix FN, entry clearance to the UK as a partner, you need to meet the suitability requirement. And after meeting the suitability requirement, she needs to meet the eligibility requirement. Your partner, your wife has to meet the suitability and the eligibility. Suitability is normally not a problem. No criminal record, not banned from the UK, not subject to deportation, you have not owed the NHS £500 or more, not excluded from the UK, etc., etc. So that is usually not a problem. Then you come to the eligibility. Eligibility, you have to have the relationship requirements, immigration requirement that is applied from outside, financial requirements, and of course, English language requirements, and of course, accommodation. Now, under the relationship requirement, the partner or the person who is in the UK, which is in this case you, Mr. Paul Owusu Champong, you must be a British citizen, or you must have indefinite leave to remain, or you must be an EU national that has pre-settled status, EU national that has pre-settled status. You, in this case, you are not an EU national. If you are an EU national with a EU passport, if you are an EU national, you have a Belgian passport, Italian passport, German passport, Spanish passport. If you have a passport of an EU country and you have a pre-settled status, yes, 100% you can bring your partner if all the other requirements are satisfied. I will say it again. If you have a EU passport, and you have pre-settled status, yes, you meet the definition of a person who is in the UK under the requirements, and referring to GEN 1.3, you are a person who is an EU national who has a pre-settled status. In that case, you can bring your partner. However, if you are a family member of an EU national, you are a Ghanaian, you have a Ghana passport, and you are a family member to an EU national, maybe your father or your mother or your auntie or your uncle got the settlement for you, the EU pre-settles for you, and you are not settled, remember, you are not an EU national. You only have pre-settlement through an EU national. In that case, you cannot bring your partner now. Wait until you get your indefinite, then you can bring your partner to the UK. Thank you. Crypto Charlie, what if I'm not working but drawing an income from private pension? Would I meet the threshold? Yes, private pension, state pension, all can add up to you meeting the threshold. So if you are not working at all, then make sure your private pension, your state pension, and all the pensions and other incomes you have, which not necessarily from salaried or income from work, make sure you have. Let me just do a brief calculation for you, then we take it from there. So, assuming you are not working at all and you want to rely on pensions and other sources of funds, you need to prove that you meet 29,000, that is the whole amount, times 2.5. That is 2.5 years. That is 72,500 plus 16,000. That is 88,500 pounds to bring your partner to the UK. That is to say, if you are not working at all and you only want to rely on your pensions and other sources of funds, you have to have a total of 88,500 pounds to meet the threshold. So once you can prove that 88,500, then that is enough for you to meet your income. However, if maybe you're receiving some benefits, like the ones I mentioned, carers allowance, attendance allowance, PIP, industrial injury allowance, police injury pensions, etc., etc., and you also have private pension, you can add that to the amount you earn from or you receive from these allowances to meet the maintenance threshold. So yes, it is possible. Right. DJ. So it says Solomon Owusu. I'm multi-talented with skills in many fields, but have no certificate in any field. What do you suggest will be the best process I should take to get to the UK? Well, if you have, it will be very helpful if you were able to, if you were able to get some certificate to prove that you have those skills. You know, in this country, you can have all the skills you want, but we want evidence of it. So I would say if you have to do some um, online courses in Ghana or wherever you are to prove that you are qualified in that area, maybe a plumbing, a builder, a roofer, a tiler, a bricklayer, you meet all these requirements, of course. If you can get a sponsor in the UK, and the sponsor has the sponsorship license issued by the Home Office. And with that license, they can issue you the COS, Certificate of Sponsorship. In that case, you can apply to come and work in the UK. So yes, I'm impressed. You have all the skills, but I would advise you if you can get some certificate to support it. That would be very, very helpful. Very helpful. Hello, Kubi Isaac. Hi. Can Home Office refuse your spouse visa application if you are not paying full tax? Well, if you are not paying full tax, it depends on the category in which you are. If you are a self-employed person, they said you should provide evidence of tax paid, tax payable, and tax not paid. Paid, payable, and unpaid, which means that they acknowledge that you have some taxes to pay, but you haven't finished paying. I believe they would accept that you will make payment. So, exclusively on the basis that you haven't paid full tax, of course, I don't think they will refuse you because there's normally a period within which you are supposed to pay your taxes. So, as long as you are within that period, you should be able to provide the evidence. Or even if you have gone over it, they normally give you some penalty. Once you can prove that you are up to date with your work, probably you haven't paid the taxes in full. I don't think that is a reason for them to refuse your application. Normally, they'll write to you to ask questions, and if you have a response, you give it to them as to why things are the way they are. Hello. Please, how much will it cost in renewing residence card in the UK? Residence card or residence permit. If it is residence card, that is under the EU settlement scheme. EU nationals and their family members don't pay home office fee apart from apart from the appointment fee you have to pay, which is I think £139. That is if it is residence card. But if it is residence permit, these are two things. We have residence card and we have residence permit. One is card, one is permit, even though they are all cards. One is called card and one is called permit. The permit is under the UK law. If you want to renew your or extend your leave, you need to meet the you need to pay the home office fee of £1,048. That is one, and you also need to pay the IHS Immigration Help Surcharge, which is £2,587.50p. If you add the two, it is £3,635.50p. If you want to go for the same day decision, 24-hour decision, then you have to pay extra £1,000 for 24-hour decision. If you don't want to go for the 24-hour decision, then you go for the standard. And the standard can take between 9 to 12 months before you get your decision from the Home Office. 9 to 12 months from the Home Office before you can get that decision. Can someone with an indefinite leave apply for British citizenship? Of course, it is possible to apply for British citizenship if you are on indefinite leave. There are different routes. It's not one answer fits all or one size fits all. It is possible to apply for your for your British citizenship. Sometimes it can take you 10 years before you get your indefinite. After that, you wait for 1 year to get your British citizenship. Or you came with as a spouse After 5 years, you get your indefinite leave. If your spouse is a British citizen, you can apply for a British citizenship immediately. Or you have to wait for 1 year if your partner has the indefinite leave and you also have indefinite leave. You wait for additional 1 year. So yes, it is possible, but it all depends on the route on which you are before you can get your citizenship. Me, my wife, and my son came to the UK with a care visa November 2023. My daughter was added to the application, but we didn't file for her because we wanted to get ourselves in order. Or you wanted to get the order, that is a order of solely sole custody. You want to get it so before we do that. Now we have the order of sole custody. Can we still file for her? My wife is the main applicant and I am the dependent. We have 5 years visa in the UK. Yes, if both of you, husband and wife, and both of you are the parents of this child, you don't have a problem. Please apply for the child to come. Let me say it again. If both of you are the biological parents of the child, then apply. The child will be given the leave to enter the UK. However, if one of you is a step parent to the child, let me caution you, all those visas are being refused. All those children applications where there is a stepchild, a stepfather, stepmother involved, all the children's visas applications are being refused. All of them, all are being refused because they say that the step parent you haven't proved, or the parent you haven't proved sole responsibility enough. I don't know why the Home Office is doing that, but they are refusing almost all children's application if it is a step parent involved. All those applications are being refused. But if, again, both of you are the biological parents of that child, then yes, please go ahead and apply for the child. The child should be granted. An employer has not given any official contract. However, he sent an email that he has now changed all contracts to 0 hours contract. Even those on the COS, it is clearly stated that the person needs to work for 30 hours. Will this change to 0 hours after the person's application to indefinite leave to remain? Well, this is quite interesting how an employer can just change the terms of the contract to 0 hours, possibly because there is not much work. I would want you to call me for a telephone number of somebody who I know deals a lot with employment issues. He would be able to direct you, put you in the right direction. Call me after the program or on Monday, and I will give you the number to the individual who can assist you with as to whether or not changing the contract unilaterally is legal, and if so, whether the 30 hours can be reduced to 0 hour contract and if it would impact on you. So please call me back. Kobe Isaac, hi. Is EU citizenship part of the minimum threshold? No, no, no. EU nationals are not part of the immigration rules threshold. But if you are an EU national and you married before 31st of December 2020, you will still come under EU law. If you are EU national and you married after, or you married from 1st of January 2021, or you married in 2021 onwards, in that case, the UK had left the EU, and therefore your application will be considered under the UK law. Even though you have an EU passport, your application will still be considered under the UK law, and then you will have to meet the financial threshold. So we're looking at it from when you marry, the date of the marriage, that will determine on whether you come under the EU law or under the UK immigration rules. Thank you. Hi again. Thanks for answering my earlier question. My wife is here with me, and we will need to do the extension visa. The 88,000 does this mean what I can prove having in my private pension? Well, like I explained, if you have a private pension and you can show that that meets the 29,000 pounds threshold, then that is fine. But I'm saying if the private pension does not meet the 29,000 threshold, and you have to prop it up to the 29,000, that is where the calculation I did comes in. That's where the calculation I did. But if you haven't receiving maybe government pension and private pension, and it is giving you 29,000, 30,000, 40,000, you should be fine. You don't have to meet the 88,000 pounds in your account. My wife and I, my son, I've answered this one already. Okay, let me see. My wife, I, and my son came to the UK on November 2010. I took my son back to Ghana after he got his BRP card. I wanted to bring him back to the UK if he is 4 years old. My son is turning 2 years in November 2024. Do we still need to apply for a visa again, or he can still enter with his BRP card after staying in Ghana for like 3 years? He can come. He came with a care visa. Well, look, the whole thing is this: you are given the visa with the intent or with the intention that you will remain or you will live or reside in the UK. So if you applied for the child, we came with the child has the BRP, nothing stops you from traveling or taking the child out. But if the child goes to stay out for 2 years, 3 years, it's more that the child is out there rather than in here. So I would advise that if you can, every now and then bring the child in, and then you could possibly take the child back out. I think it's about 120 days, a year or so. But 3 years is a long time. You may have difficulty with the border force immigration officer if you bring in the child back. Somebody else might be fine with it, you can pass. But if you are not fortunate enough and you meet a border force officer who wants to question you, you may have a lot of difficulties in bringing the child back. You don't have to apply for a new visa. No, as long as the child visa, VRP is still valid, that is fine. No new visas, but be mindful of the fact that you can be questioned at the port of entry, and that can create all kinds of problems for you. DJ, I'll be taking the last few questions and then we take it from next week. I tried to bring my relative Siamese twins to the UK. One was granted a visa and the other was refused. How can I proceed? Very interesting. Twins, but the decision is made by two different people. Remember, you completed two different application forms for them, and both forms don't necessarily go before the same case worker. So sometimes the case worker would then have to, different case workers look at things differently. In that case, if you have the right of appeal, I would say appeal against the decision. If you don't have the right of appeal, you can apply for admin review and make them understand that these are twins. One was granted with the same documentation, the other was refused with the same documentation, and therefore they should reconsider the decision, and I'm sure they will. If you don't have the right of appeal and you don't have right of admin review, you can go for PAP or judicial review to challenge the decision. I am sure somebody will look at it with a second eye and you should get some outcome for that. Right. Please, after I'm due to apply for indefinite leave remain, what happens to my dependents who have not stayed for the 5 years in the UK? Well, usually in such a case, there is usually an extension of visa application. You, assuming your dependent has been here for, let's say, 3 years, you are going for indefinite. The dependent has been here for 3 years. It is possible to apply for another 2.5 years visa for that dependent. Then once they hit the 2 years, they don't have to do all the 2.5 years. Once they do the 2 years, you can then vary the application to indefinite leave to remain in the UK. Usually, if there's a residential threshold to meet, they will have to meet it. If it is 5 years, it will be 5 years. If it is 3 years, it's 3 years. And if they don't meet it at the time you are applying, in some cases, you will have to apply for the extension for them. And once they meet it, they don't have to exhaust the whole 2.5 years, but once they meet the 5 year requirement, then they can apply for the leave to indefinite leave to remain. Yes, thank you, DJ. In relation to 29K NHS job of 37.5 and bank shifts, extra 2 days can get you past the 29,000. Nana Amma, thank you very much. Thank you very much for the information. I believe a lot of people are watching or listening. You've been given the clue as to how to meet the 29,000 pounds. Get a second job, and you'll be able to meet the threshold. And I am sure you can bring your husband or your wife to the UK.
Lawyer, let's take. I see more questions coming, but let's take this
All right.
last one, then we can wrap up. Oh.
Thank you. Good evening, Lawyer Kai. Good evening, Ima. Can someone with indefinite leave status with less than the 29,000 threshold still bring his spouse to the UK? It is possible if there is a child involved. If there is a child involved, let's assume the child is in the UK with a mother and the partner is applying to come and they don't meet the financial threshold, it is possible to argue that yes, because of the child's best interest and other factors, they should be given the leave to enter. However, they will be put on the 10-year route, not on the 5-year route, 10-year route. So, yes, you earn less than 29,000. There are other factors, compassionate circumstances, which would mean that an exclusion would be maybe too draconian or too harsh for the child's best interest. Yes, you may be granted, but they'll put you on the 10 years, not on the 5 years. I would rather get a second job and be on the 5 years rather than to go on the 10-year route. That would be my position. Thank you very, very, very much.
Okay. Thank you, Lawyer Wisdom Akao. We were supposed to close at 7:30, but I've given more extra minutes. So you can contact Lawyer Wisdom Akao. His numbers are on the screen, so you can contact him on the mobile and office line. So, Lawyer, thank you so much for coming through today.
Thank you.
Next week, God willing, next week Friday we'll meet again. Every Friday we are here. Every Friday, me and Lawyer Wisdom Akao, we are here. Wise Man Solicitors from 6 to 7:30. So make sure you follow us so you get notification. Subscribe to our channel and then YouTube channel SBTV International, SBTV Africa. So, Lawyer, your address, your location, London, opposite McDonald's, Dalston.
Thank you very much, DJ. I'm very grateful and I really appreciate you for all the good works you're doing for the Ghanaian community. I've been watching your videos and the help you're giving to the women, the young girls that have been exported or shipped or planed all over the world that are going through so much difficulties. How you try to bring them back home and try to support them. Thank you. We really, really appreciate you. Thank you.
But Lawyer, I'll be dropping some exclusive. This one, let me say it in local dialect. Let me say it in Tree because that interview is in Tree. So me drop video be me lawyer wia see me ni wie ya kran ukọ YouTube SBTV Africa or nti mo am subscribe dem be hu ba on subscribe ya me ka share mo say mo so wo share Facebook adwo anyway YouTube eno na obenya exclusive no me ne abrante bi omo ye recruiting lawyer trafficking pa na menim say oman no ma dey na ebi mo desperate to sense say lawyer Russia Ukraine war Russia full recruit Africans bebre
I see.
and agent bi so no mo agim no mo recruit Ghana for no
Wow.
Ghana for no ko no mo fi say to we knockout na to ye ku mo te say we no
And I said when you I mean you come
na
out.
na the mo bon say what the mo share interview na obehu message ama say ukra subscribe so you get notification the mo bon say ye nka no kra ne nchiro mo ye say o ejuma bi apai wo Russia nti because of ngofire desperate nti ye say den ejuma apai nti okọ a na wakosensan paper no ko ni Russia kasa no nte ye be ma the book tintin nti translate kra nye yi ne am assign think is okọ ejuma bo na na kwasha camp na was start training.
Oh, I see.
Oh yes, nkofo kwasa na nsen kra mi say video be about nkofo bi Ghana fo bi omo kura tuo say yeah KK47 brag joining Russia ya kontokwa me padi na me ne ye no video no o de me nkasa bebre omo behwe it's lawyer o de signing out in release video no office location the print house so mo print visa intie
You're printing letters near the economy of visa. Yeah, it'll be as a wise smart solicitors. Wise smart solicitors, 18 to 22 Ashwin Street, 8 to 9 the Print House, London Dalston, E8 3DL, and at Dalston, London, E8 3DL. You were close to the McDonald's, I mean behind the McDonald's and close to the Dalston Market. The telephone number near mobile number here 07931 411 042. I know I was screen so and the office number is 0208 0165 384. Putting up office number. And you can call the office numbers to book appointments or to have a telephone conference or telephone what do you call it, consultation. If you're living very far off and you can't travel all the way here, we're more than happy to have a telephone consultation with you. Zoom or any other medium that we could get it done, we'll be more than happy to assist you. It's Wise Smart Solicitors. We are always here to assist in every possible way we can, applying the law to the best of our understanding. Thank you. God willing, next week we will be on the SBTV Africa local. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lawyer Wisdom Akao. Enjoy your weekend. God willing, next week you'll see him here. So prepare your questions, and if anything, you can just contact them. Wise Smart Solicitors. My name is DJ Nyame. Thank you guys for watching on SVTV International, our YouTube channel, SVTV Africa, and SVTV Africa on Facebook. Make sure you follow us on SVTV Africa on our YouTube channel. I'll be dropping exclusive interview from Russia right now in the next 2 minutes after signing out. So make sure you don't miss that interview and know what is going on. I know a lot of people are desperate to travel, but this one there, you go fight for Russia. Charlie. So thank you guys for joining us, and make sure you subscribe to our channel. My name is DJ Nyame. My numbers are always on the screens when you go to our YouTube channel, or if you're on Facebook, our number is there. You can just WhatsApp if you want to come on my show to share your story. I talk to people across the world. Wherever you are, you can come on my show. Let's vibe. So follow us for more. Charlie, big ups. So after signing out, if you have subscribed, you get notification. If you have not, follow us on our YouTube channel. Just type SVTV Africa. Tap on the subscribe and notification bell. When you drop any video, make sure you watch. It will help you drop your comments and all that. Charlie, big ups. Thank you guys for watching. Let me just give some shout out here. Kojo Code. I know lawyer couldn't answer all the questions, but you can contact him or you can prepare your question for next week. Make sure you drop it early so that lawyer will answer it for you. I see some message coming from Benedicta saying that I skipped some of the questions. Sorry about that. But make sure next time you bring your questions early. Join us from 6 p.m. to 7:30. Fridays, every Fridays we are here. So drop your questions early so that I will not miss it. Kojoko, thank you so much for joining us today. Augustine, thank you so much. Benedicta Boateng, sorry about that. Next time I'll let lawyer answer your question for you. PY, thank you so much for joining us. Amankwa Petsy. Pa George, thank you so much. Prince Ali Baba, Emmanuel Echampon, thank you so much. Nanama, thank you so much. King Money, thank you so much. Felix Wilson, thank you so much. Martin Iwa, thank you for joining us today. Is it Benakel Jackson? And is it Benakel Jackson? If I don't pronounce it well, forgive me. Is it Benacel Jackson or Benakel Jackson? Boy, Pa George, BK Bafo, thank you for joining us. Dutch Junior, Richmond Ofori, Crypto Charlie, thank you so much. Mr. Shadran TV, thank you so much. Emmanuel Champon, Paul Usu Echampon, Kubi Isaac, Nana Mensa, Boampong, Tony, thank you so much. Godfrey Apreku, thank you so much. Blah blah blah. Albert Inkum, Kojo Bless Up, thank you so much. Solomon Owusu, thank you so much. Paul Owusu Echampon, okay. Salome Kwe, thank you so much. Nanayao Flokin, big ups. Big ups. Oting Fred, thank you so much. Truth Media GH, big ups. Kwame Enin, thank you so much for joining us today. Billionaire Boateng, make it make sense. Thank you. Mace Tasty Meal, Mace Tasty Meal, thank you so much. Kwabena Francis, thank you so much. Nanama, thank you so much. Dominic Jedu, thank you so much. Is it Chris Santos? Mogli. Hey, Charlie, thank you so much. If I don't mention your name, forgive me. Tony Adams, Michael JC Hayford, thank you so much. Vivian Ahanugbe, thank you so much. Kweku Asna, thank you so much. Matt Che, thank you so much. Charles Obin Apia, Mekuya, thank you so much. Pat Wheat, thank you so much. Michael JC Hayford, okay. Dominic, okay. Ajua Esa, thank you so much for watching today. Shadrach Asamfo, thank you so much. Mawonyo Apitu, thank you so much for watching us. That's all. So, guys, thank you so much for watching. The next 1 minute, less than 1 minute, I'll be dropping exclusive vibe from Russia and Ukraine war. Charlie, you guys, be careful. I know say boys won't travel, but some moves there. If you watch the interview and you listen what happened, then you could know what they go on. Okay. So because me, I know a lot of people contacted me. Oh, Charlie, Russia, Russia, what did they go do for Russia? So you won't get Russia book. Russia book, if you get, where you go take go? If you get Russia book, where you go take go now? Anyway, Charlie, big ups. So see you guys soon. Peace out.
Charlie, make we drop small. Delight Cocoa.
Delight Cocoa, the authentic, original taste of African porridge. Available in all African and Caribbean shops. Delight Cocoa.